Thank you.
Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai We begin with a prayer. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, friend, beloved God, great gurus, preceptors, saints, and sages of all religions, I humbly bow to you all. Thank you for raising the vibration of this class. Thank you for connecting us to God. Om Shanti Shanti. Right, so where were we?
Page 210.
Okay, for 435 or I finished 435?
You have finished 435.
So I come to 436. Okay, one moment. Let me put on a light. I'm in a bit of a mess, you guys. So 436, it says, even the worst of sinners can, with the raft of wisdom, cross safely over the ocean of delusion. So a master used to say, a saint is a sinner who never gave up. So went on and on trying till they became a saint. Basically saying that every one of us has terrible things which we have done in the past across lifetimes, and it's kind of futile to hang in there and say what a horrible person I have been. It may be in this life or in the past. Sri Yukteswar, one of the line of gurus, also says that every person's past is really dark with many, many secrets, many, many things that they have done. But the point is, if you start today, that's good enough. Just drop whatever was there. Don't keep dwelling on it. Don't keep thinking that I'm a disaster and nothing good can happen for me. And guilt is also a big time sign of ego. Sometimes things happen that we just don't have control over. It's futile to start, loading ourselves with guilt. Say, fine, I may have not had the foresight or the wisdom. I may have chosen wrongly and something went off, but I cannot be carrying that burden throughout. The point is not to keep sitting in the guilt and weighing yourself down. The point is to learn from what happened and to move on and try not to repeat that. Even then, after trying not to repeat that, we still repeat patterns. So every time we make a mistake, I'm not saying become conscienceless. So do have a conscience, but the sincere effort should be that I don't repeat those mistakes. Instead of taking it all upon myself and saying, it's like a self-pity. It's like sitting there and giving up and saying, I am so bad that nothing good can happen for me. So let me not even try. So that is worse. So a saint is a sinner who never gave up. Okay. Krishna offers this supreme encouragement to all humanity. No matter how steeped you are in bad habits, vice, self-degrading depravity, or evil, you are still a child of the one infinite Lord who created masters and saints. Nothing less than divine bliss can define you forever. Never, therefore, tell yourself, I am evil. Never say, I have failed. If you accept any failure as your reality, it will be so, at least for this lifetime. But if after every setback you say, rather, I have not yet succeeded, you can win even in this incarnation. So keep trying. That is the point. So this is one of the Navratnas. I was saying that the Gita is based on 9 Ratnas. So one of the Ratnas or gems of wisdom is directional development. As long as your efforts are in the right direction, you will continue to evolve. Pray to God as the Divine Mother, all forgiving and ever accepting. Mother, whether naughty or good, I am thy child. You must release me, cleanse me of all sins. God doesn't mind your faults. Yogananda used to say, he only minds your indifference. So as long as we are connected to God, as long as we are wanting to make the right effort, we will continue to move forward. So the next sloka says, O Arjuna, as fire burns wood to ashes, so does the fire of wisdom burn to ashes all one's karma. So when we attain discrimination, or there's another ratna which is further down the line, which is knowing, which is acquiring wisdom or discrimination. When we acquire wisdom, then we can always take dharmic actions instead of karmic actions. Okay, so the fire of wisdom burns to ashes all one's karma. Think of the long abandoned Egyptian tombs. Darkness reigned in King Tut's tomb for thousands of years, yet once it was open, light flooded in, and the darkness of centuries was dispersed in an instant. The case is similar with every individual. No matter how deep his shadows of unknowing, the moment God's light enters his consciousness, there is nothing but light. Okay, so as we say that 25% is our effort, 25% is the Guru's effort, and 50% is the grace of God. So the grace of God is always there, but we have to take a little bit of responsibility for our lives. We have to get up, see the sun is shining every day. All we have to do is to get up and open the window. If even that we refuse to do, then our moving forward on the path is going to take many, many lifetimes. Okay. Karma is of many kinds, since that word means action only. So karma, in common parlance, it has become, oh, this is my karma, and people kind of feel frightened of the word karma. But karma actually means simply action, good or bad. Karma can be national, communal, family, individual. Anything that proceeds from a coherent center of intention that can attract results back to that center. All action is karma. So always we ask, even as healers, that what is your intention? It is the intention that matters. Sometimes the action may become wrong, but if our intention behind it was good, then that karma, the consequence is not so bad. So sometimes what happens, we see that many parents, their intention is to bring up the child as best as possible, but the child turns out to be a rebel. But it was not the parents' intention to, create a child which is a rebel. The parents are simply doing the best they can at the given moment, whatever was their consciousness. They are acting out of love for the child. So the intention behind the way they brought up the child was love. The ultimate result may be a disaster because the parents were not wise, but it does not bring to the parent a very violent form of bad karma, because the intention from which they came was good. So anything that proceeds from a coherent center of intention will attract results back to that center. Okay? A national leader who does evil on his people's behalf will not have to bear the entire weight of that bad karma on his own shoulders. The whole nation must accept the responsibility because they allowed it. They supported the national leader who took those decisions. So the entire nation will have to bear that responsibility. Good people in that country must bear it also, though their own karma may offset for themselves and perhaps for a wider circle of people any evil that must befall the nation as a karmic retribution. So even good people will suffer the consequences of a mass karma where the majority of people have supported a crazy regime or a bad leader. Good people who did try to protest, but they were just too few in number and it did not happen. So they will also have to suffer the overall bad karma, but it won't be so bad for them. So karma is any action. What is Kriya? When we do Kriya Yoga, that is not karma. Kriya Yoga, if done in the right spirit, is an unconditional offering of yourself to the divine. There we don't have, when we do Kriya, at least we are not supposed to look for results. It is simply a self-offering. And the intent is just to merge with the higher self or source. So that is Kriya, which that action of doing the practice does not bring karma to you. It is a dharmic action. So it will never bring, it will never spin off continuous back and forth of consequences when we release our own karmas through Kriya Yoga. When an airplane crashes, not everyone who dies in that event does so necessarily because it was his own karma to die. The group karma of the majority of passengers might outweigh an individual's neutral karma. If, for example, his karma to live was not strong enough. Sometimes, when we take a flight and all, we just die in a plane crash. It means that, see, during our lifetime, all of us have 4 exit points. We can choose any of these 4. Okay. So maybe when this guy buys a ticket where 50% of the passengers have a karma of dying in a plane crash, so they will naturally, vibrationally be attracted to the flight, to the pilot, to whoever is manning, to the airlines, which is karmically destined to go down. Vibrationally, you will suddenly think, I will take this airline and not that airline, and this date and not that date. Because karmically, it is pulling you towards that destiny. But some people, it may not be their destiny, but their will to live or their reason to carry on may not be as strong. They may have almost completed the karma, or they may be in such a low vibration that nothing very much is going to happen in terms of growth and development in this life. So they may choose that exit. However, if it wasn't your karma, you will see that there 1 or 2 people will miraculously escape, even if the whole plane load of people have died, because it was not their karma or their time to die at that time. Or you will see there will be stories after every plane crash that, oh, thank God I was about to take that flight, but something happened and I had to delay my journey. Or, the person who's booking the tickets was so rude to me that I changed my mind and I went on another flight. So that means your karma was not that at all, and you have sufficient good karma and you have sufficient lessons to learn in this life, so you don't board that flight.
Urmi, one question.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I wanted to know is Kriya, you said is dharmic
Yeah.
versus the karmic. How
Yeah.
does one know what is karmic and what is dharmic?
You will first study your intentions. Okay, what is your intention is the biggest question we should ask when we are trying to decide whether it's karmic or dharmic. Okay, number 1. Number 2 is anything that moves you towards source is dharmic. Anything that takes you away from source is karmic. So what happens, even we may be doing good deeds and we may have good karma, but when we have good karma and good things happen in our lives, we may continue to be attached to the world because we are enjoying ourselves too much. While it is enjoyable, it is not necessarily moving you towards source. Dharmic action, on the other hand, is something which you consciously undertake, which you know will move you towards source. This is provided that you are doing your Kriya practice in an impersonal way as just an unconditional offering of the self to God, and not for getting things back, not for the sake of grace, not for the sake of riches, not for the sake of powers. All right. Is that clear?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
other
that's
than say
Jamuna,
Kriya,
right?
what would you say are the other, yeah, what would you
Yeah.
say are the other kind of things which are dharmic?
All action. I'll give you some examples. Excuse me. See, another law of the universe is the greatest good for the greatest number, the highest good for the greatest number. Okay. So if say you are the ruler of a country or you are the CEO of a company, you will take decisions for the company or for the country, not based on your personal ego preferences, not based on what will get me more power and money, but very impersonal. You will take the big picture view of life and you will do what serves the highest good for the greatest number. Okay, so that is dharmic action. So there is a lot of controversy, you know, when we hear the story of the Ramayana and we say, oh my God, what a king he was. He sent his wife away into the forests and all those kind of things, right? There's a huge beehive of arguments that will come up, right? But if we see it in the context of that age, and we see what the dharma of a ruler is, the ruler will put aside his personal joy or sorrow because his duty is to be the king. His duty is to do the good for his people. So often a ruler will do something which in his personal life may seem unjust, but he is doing it from the perspective of an entire nation. Okay. There is this story also of Gandhiji. Gandhiji's son had so much angst against his father because Gandhiji never could give time to his son. In that film, Gandhi, you see the son is constantly sulking that my father is known as the father of the nation, but he didn't have time for me. Okay. So the point is, souls like Gandhiji have a life purpose, which is supposed to move mass consciousness. They cannot be tied down in personal life. In fact, Gandhiji kept asking his son, why don't you come and join the work? Join the work I am doing. But the son wants special mollycoddling. So that was the son's inability to understand that my father's duty or life task is much bigger than just the person, the personal family, the personal likes and dislikes. So that is dharmic action when I am aligned to the laws of the universe, when I am, if my life task is to raise mass consciousness, is to raise the vibration of millions of people across the world, then I have to sacrifice my personal likes and dislikes, my personal family, right? Even Sri Aurobindo, he left his wife, okay? When he went into, today is Sri Aurobindo's birthday. So when he was put in jail in solitary confinement for doing terrorist activities and all that in the freedom movement, while in jail, he attained enlightenment and he got a clear message from source that move to Pondicherry, you have to set up that ashram. So he left his wife because there is a much larger purpose to his life. So there may be judgments on that. Again, we have to understand that truth is relative. What may be right for you may not be right for another person. So these people are taking dharmic action firmly aligned to even say Buddha, who left his family and went off and became enlightened, right? Because their life has reached a certain stage where no longer the personal, maybe the personal life was there because there was some minor karma which needed to be worked out. Now, please move forward on your life task. So when you are firmly on your life purpose, and you know it, you will always know. When you are firmly on your life purpose, every action that you take becomes dharmic because you are absolutely aligned to source and you are guided almost to take certain steps, take certain actions, and you have enough wisdom to know what can spin me backwards into a karmic trap. And you keep moving forward with the guidance of source. So that is a dharmic life. And such people become Jivan Muktas. What is a Jivan Mukta? Free while living. So today is Independence Day. That's true freedom. In this lifetime, you have become free because you have become so wise. You know the consequences of every action. You know, you are very clear about your own intentions, why you are doing something. Most people don't know. They don't know what, pushes them to take an action. People are muddled, right? So dharmic people know very clearly, this is my intention. This is why I am taking this action. This is the consequence I am looking for. So such people are no longer reacting from the past. Okay, so they are not reacting from their learned habits. They are no longer reacting from their past lifetimes or how they have been brought up in their childhood. At every point, they are making conscious decisions and moving ahead. That kind of person does not accrue karma at all. They can take action in the world, but nothing is going to attach to them. Mainly because they are not attached. They are simply moving with source. Whatever it is that I am here to do, I will simply complete it and leave my body. So that kind of action is dharmic action. When I take full responsibility, I know why I'm doing it. I know the consequences that will come, and I know that my action is fully aligned to source. So whatever takes you towards source is dharma. Whatever is likely to keep you attached here or even spin you backwards on the path is karma.
Thanks.
So, group karma is highly complex. Everyone's first duty is to himself to improve his own karma. Indeed, the more good one does by contributing towards a general upliftment of consciousness, the more greatly will the general karma be helped. One must begin, however, by uplifting his own consciousness. So when gurus or teachers will speak, their first duty is first clean up your own act, because before you are talking to so many people and trying to lift mass consciousness. Okay. So their responsibility is greater. For the individual, two kinds of karma need to be considered: Purushakara and Prarabdha. So there are many kinds of karma. There's just two given here. I would like to explain a little bit more in detail. So one kind of karma is Sabeja Karma. Sabeja Karma is actually what is known as the Sanchita Karma. It is the karma which is accumulated lifetime after lifetime. We are carrying a whole truckload, if not 10,000 truckloads of karma. All of it we cannot bring down in one lifetime. It will be impossible to deal with. So before we decide to come down into this life, when we are having a life review, we decide from that Sabeja Karma, that Sanchita Karma, accumulated karma, we say, okay, in this lifetime, I will resolve these 4 or 5 issues. And therefore, I will choose that kind of family, that kind of education, that kind of life events, which will bring about those situations where I can learn those 4 or 5 lessons that I came to learn. Often what happens, because we forget, once we are in the 2D world, in the world of 3D world, in the world of duality, we forget what we have decided up at source. At source, we are all very wise. But when we come here now, in this world of Maya or duality, we are actually playing out what we ourselves have decided at some point, but we have forgotten. And because we have forgotten, we can repeat the mistake. And so we can create more karma. Rather than resolving one lifetime, we can create more karma. And therefore, there is just infinite number of lifetimes we keep coming back, trying to release ourselves from this karma. Okay, so this Sabeja Karma is the vast cosmic storehouse, huge. It's all stored in the Akashic records, where all vibrations, all actions are recorded, and we take from there and we come down. The next type of karma is the Prarabdha Karma. What is the Prarabdha Karma? Which is already in action. You really cannot stop it. This is why you have taken birth in any case. I said, now up in there, out of the bunch of Sabeja Karma, you have chosen 4 or 5 lessons, which you really need to learn quick before, so that you can move forward. So those are the Prarabdha Karmas. You cannot get out of that. You have to move through that. Because if you don't have karma, in any case, you cannot be embodied in a physical body. You will only be spirit. So you come with certain karmas which you have to live out. That is the Prarabdha Karma. It is already in action. It is what makes us take birth. It is what determines, our span of life also. Then comes the Purushakara Karma, which Swamiji talks about here. So Swamiji says, for the individual, 2 kinds of karma need to be considered: Purushakara and Prarabdha. Prarabdha, I just said, the one which you cannot really get out of. You are here for that. Purushakara Karma is actions generated in this life under the influence not of habit or desire, but of soul guidance. So this kind of karma, every action that we do, we realize that it has a consequence, and we choose wise actions. So this is dharma, basically. Just now I said that there are certain actions which are dharmic in nature. So this one is when we are taking action under the influence of soul guidance, not of our past habits. Therefore, in this kind of karma, it becomes dharma, and we are responding. We are no longer reacting to life. So Prarabdha Karma, on the other hand, consists of present tendencies and the results of past actions brought over from former lives. So these are the 4 or 5 lessons we have come with, which we now need to really finish. Now, Prarabdha Karma is also of two kinds. Those actions which, owing to present circumstances, are likely to bear fruits in this life, and those known as Prarabdha Karma, which are being held in abeyance until more favorable circumstances bring them to fruition. So Prarabdha Karma is something we have come with. Now, if we have quickly learned all 5 lessons, which we said we will learn, I may choose to learn some more.
This story, but I go much complication and words there.
Whose audio is that? Yeah. So there are certain karmas which say within my Prarabdha Karma, I have said I will learn this. I have created more. Instead of learning the lesson, I have created another drama in my life out of that. So I may not have time to finish it in this life. Then I will carry it forward. I may finish it, I may not. So that becomes Agami Karma, or something which is further ahead. In another lifetime, I will be able to resolve it. That is Prarabdha or Agami Karma. Okay, same. Now, all these 4 kinds of karma, Sabeja Karma, the whole truckload of it, which we are carrying, then Prarabdha Karma, the 4, 5 lessons which we have come with, which we need to resolve, which I cannot avoid. Then this, what does Swamiji call it? Purushakara, or Purusha, there's another name for it, Purusha, something I forget. Let's go with this. Purushakara, that means this is my dharmic action. I am doing it according to guidance from source. And there is Agami Karma, which if I don't finish in this life, I will now carry it forward. Okay. So all these kinds of karmas have 3 ways of being resolved or coming up for us. In the Prarabdha Karma will come hard and fast. You cannot sidestep it. Mostly the biggest Prarabdha Karma is the person that you get married to. Those are big karmas. You cannot avoid it. If it is written that that is why they say marriages are made in heaven. We question that sometimes, maybe down below also. But that is a karma you cannot avoid, because there is a powerful life lesson there. So you have to learn it, and it is difficult to sidestep it. Okay, so one will come hard and fast, which you cannot avoid. One kind of karma will be kind of fluid. You may be able to do it, you may not be able to do it. It will get carried on into the next life. The other kind of karma is where, you can actually choose whether I am going to take this up in this life or not. Especially people who do a lot of self-growth work, they may choose then that, okay, this karma has no meaning for me now. I have understood it. So you can drop it also. So there are these kinds of ways that the karma acts out. A man may have the karma.
Sorry, can you explain that last bit? How can you drop it? I mean, I didn't get that.
So you can drop it through transpersonal regression therapy.
Other than that way.
When you gain wisdom, when you have been kicked so bad in the backside, you finally learn and you decide to shift. There are life transforming situations. Now, some people you will see after a major accident or an illness become completely different people. So the karma has hit you so bad that your life transforms. You are no longer that person. If you were a very
that is for every karma, no, Urmi. That's every karma you're learning from, and you become different in that sense.
That's what I'm saying. So if you have learned from it, the situation may come up because you have tracked it up there when you hadn't learned it. Now you have done self-growth work, and when that situation presents itself to you, you will say, no, I choose not to step into this pattern again. I know better now. So you can take it or not take it. Up to you. So there are various ways that the karma plays out. Okay.
Maybe your karma with your parents would also be prarabdha karma. In the
100%
sense that
would
you-
a horribly prarabdha, because we choose our parents. These are big karmic charges. Parents, spouse, children. These are the biggest karmic charges. Okay. These you can't get out of.
Urmi, I think Brad had a question for you.
Who?
Brad. I saw.
Brad, what are you saying? Because
I'm
you're
not sure
muted.
if it's still on topic, but I was just wondering, you had mentioned something about 4 exit points when we were talking about the plane crash
Oh,
example. I was
yeah.
wondering
So
what you
no,
meant by
it's
that.
not part of the topic, but I'll explain to you. We all come with 4 exit points. Okay, already pre-decided. At various points in your life, sometimes you may be conscious of it, sometimes you may not be conscious of it. Okay, suppose you have come with certain karmic lessons to learn, and the first one has, been so bad for you because you messed it up and you created 10 out of that, which were non-existent when you came. Now it's getting really difficult to even move forward in this life by the time you wade out of it. Okay, so you may choose the first exit. Maybe there is an exit for you at age 30. Say, okay, I'll leave. I'm done. I'm not going to wait till age 80 when my 4th exit comes. Okay. So there are choices. Sometimes we are unaware of them. Most of the times we are unaware of them. It happens at a soul level. Sometimes you will see that on one given day, you're traveling down a highway and you choose not to take a certain turn in the highway, and on some whim of your own, you have turned the other way. Later on, you hear that there was a massive accident there, and you would surely have gone in that if you hadn't taken the other road. So that was one of your exit points. But because you're doing well enough, you have, in a superconscious way, your higher self has guided you, move away. This was a planned event for you. Don't go into that because you're doing all right. So you can move further on your growth path. And also we can delay it, right? So we have 4 exit points, and usually, what should I say? Okay, that I'll tell later. This is very confusing. Okay, I'll come to that point later. But we do have 4 exit points, and we may choose or not choose. Okay, to
The
take.
4 exit points are time frames, or what is it?
Yeah. Not everyone's will be the same. You have planned out and said that I am going down with really tough stuff, and I don't think, unless there is a miracle or, I am really open to the divine, that I will even be able to come out of it by the time I'm 25. So I have kept a provisional exit point that I will leave if things get too bad. Say, for example, a drug addict. If the person's karma was to get into that addiction in order to get out of it, maybe lifetimes of addictions have preceded this, right? So now in this lifetime, he has decided, I am going to learn the lesson and get out of it. But it's a hard lesson that I have chosen. So very early on in life, I have gone into drugs, and I have kept an exit point at age 25 that if it gets too bad, I am going to leave at 25. But if in case, because it's a learning ground, suppose I have struggled out of it, I may choose that, okay, I will move on beyond age 25. Suppose the karma has become so huge that if I live beyond age 25, I will live like a vegetable. I might say that I don't think it has any meaning unless my becoming a vegetable teaches my parents something, right? So these are decisions that we take and we leave. Okay, there is a friend who had asked me for her sons to see what is happening. There was a very terrible accident, and I got this call and they said that this is what is happening. Please see what is happening. So when I connect, then the son told me, this body is so destroyed, I am not going to come back into it. Because if I come back into it, I will just be a vegetable. So I am going to leave. And he left. So the soul takes that. In that accident, the body was so badly destroyed that the soul took a decision then and there that I am not coming back into this. So, yeah.
Urmi,
Question.
Yeah.
the karmic, the karma decided sometimes karma decided the 4 exit point for a person. Like,
No. Yeah. We know what we are coming with. Okay.
yeah.
All of us, we know these are the 4-5 things I'm going to learn. Okay. So I will keep provisional exit points.
So, Urmi,
And
like,
I may choose any of this. Suppose now I am such a dharmic person, I've learned all my lessons by age 40, and I don't want to take on anything fresh as a learning. I may leave at 40 rather than stay till 80, because what I came with, my plan, I have finished. I'm going. On the other hand, we often call na dvija, is twice born. Some people, it's supposed to be a very auspicious thing. Some people finish their karmic lessons, they are learning very fast. They finish it, say, by age 40. Now, at a soul level, they will decide, I have finished what I came to do. Now I will choose to take on more lessons from the next lifetime, maybe. So such a person, you will see, suddenly turns very spiritual. They will start leading a powerfully dharmic life. They almost, it is like being twice born. While they were normal people doing normal jobs, suddenly there is a turnaround after a very big lesson has been learned, and you could have chosen to die at that point, but you chose to move further on your spiritual path. So that progress is very, very fast. It's almost a vertical progress. So that means you have finished what you came to learn and you have taken on more lessons. And the very fact that you have finished what you came to learn means that somewhere your wisdom has kicked in. So the discrimination has kicked in. And so the next level of lessons which you will take on are the higher chakra lessons. So you will move very fast on that path also, and maybe finish something which would have taken you another 10 lifetimes and become a Jivan Mukta in this life and leave. Okay, Jivan Mukta is freed by living, while living.
Urmi, once you like just told us, like, I just want to ask, like, sometimes that especially the younger generation or some people who are suffering from depression or something like that, they sometimes choose this exit as as because of the medical condition or because of a they can't take out that mental pressure. Like, younger generation, if they don't pass, they just
No, suicide is never planned.
So like these are these create a bad karma or like
horrible.
what?
It will spin you back so bad. Suicide is never planned. You are not supposed to take your life. You are supposed to move through the lesson. Okay. So that usually they say, now if you are committed suicide for the next 7 lifetimes, you will end up committing suicide. It is so powerful karma. Okay. And that is never ever planned. Usually as therapists, we know why it happens. I'm not getting into that. But suicide is a no-no. But accidents also do happen as a result of many things, maybe around you, the group, and all those things. Accidents do happen. Okay. So
Urmi, one
Urmi,
question.
sorry to interrupt, Urmi. And maybe again this may be a separate discussion. Why is suicide such a no-no when people are struggling? And I mean,
yeah,
of course, it's not good. I know morally, but I'm just trying to
no, no,
understand
no.
from a spiritual perspective,
Yeah.
why is it a no-no?
From a spiritual perspective is that you have refused to learn the lesson. Your contract with soul is, I will learn a lesson. Suicide means I've given up in the middle. So I have not learned the lesson. You are supposed to go through it and learn it. So giving up is not an option, because that is our whole contract, that we will move through lifetimes and through experiences. We will learn and move back to who we really are. So suicide is actually giving up, refusing to learn.
So why does
Where
it
you
take
have
you back?
agreed to
Why does
learn.
it take you back? I
Because
mean,
that,
yeah, you make
that
mistakes, right? There are people who commit suicide. I mean,
yeah.
like a very dear friend committed, and she was a very good soul.
Hmm.
But I'm just trying to understand, why does it take you? She made a mistake. She was she was mentally not in a state to
That's the
deal
thing.
with the issue.
That's what I'm saying, that your dying thought is so important. It is not even funny. If you have led a beautiful life, at death, if you are in the depths of despair or depression, that energy, when you leave the body, that energy cannot go to the light. It is moving in the earth atmosphere. It is so heavy. So when you come down in the next life, that energy will attach to you and will drag you down, so that it's more than likely that you will again create a situation where you're committing suicide. And it usually takes 7 lifetimes of hard learning, hard kicks in the backside, to even begin to see a glimmer of light and move forward again. Because you have to move forward. There is no option over there.
So, Urmi, one question related to this: what can you do to heal such people? I mean, you know a friend or somebody who's suffering because of this action.
Yeah, so that's
And
what
somebody.
we do now. We are therapists. We do it for a living.
No,
Or you
it's
go
you.
to a
Like, I'm
guru.
talking about normal people like
No,
us who do
normal
not
people
know.
will go to a guru. Normal people will pray to God. Normal people will do self-growth work, therapy. All these things are there because of that. Right? You go and do puja, na? You pray to God. The Pandit does some vibrational puja for you. Those are to shift energies. You go to an astrologer. Why do you wear those stones? They are supposed to change your vibrational frequency and move you forward. So these are the ways that we have. And even then it may not work if the karma is too hard, right?
And even Pala has a question.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Pala.
When we meditate, what kind of karma will be burned? For example, just now Prarabdha
Sabeja,
Karma.
I was just coming to that.
Okay.
When we are meditating, we are burning the truckloads which we bring. The one which is there, heavily stored in us, that is what we are burning. We cannot burn the prarabdha. Prarabdha you have to go through the 4 or 5 lessons which you have brought. But when you meditate, that prarabdha karma becomes lighter, becomes easier to move through. because you're operating out of your higher chakras, and you are now able to see patterns. So those life lessons become easier to learn. So why do we say we bring 4, 5? See, each of these karmas that we bring down with us usually takes a 20-year span to finish off. So in one lifetime, a healthy, a normal human lifespan, according to the yogis, is 116 years old, is normal, unless you have allowed karmically to be killed off before, okay? Normal lifespan to complete what you came to learn and complete takes 116 years, 20-year cycles. And we move through the heavy ones, the 4, 5 lessons which we have come with. But most often in the first lesson or the second lesson, we have created 10 others. And now we have created such a drama that we don't last beyond 80 or 50 or 60 and say, I'm done. You know, then a disease takes over. Karma leaves through the physical body. So very few people make it to 116 and complete everything that they came with. They normally create more of it. And what our yogis do, and also we come with a certain number of breaths. Not number of years, but number of breaths. That in this lifetime, I have this number of breaths. So I can extend that breath and live to 300 years. How? When we meditate, our breathing rate goes down. So I am using the same number of breaths I came with, but I'm making more use of it, and I'm living for 250 years or 300 years. Why am I doing that? Because I want to finish 2, 3 lifetime of karma in this life. I don't want to go through the process of, oh my God, now I have to get born again. I have to grow up again, waste of time till I start those lessons again. So that's why yogis lower their breath. They are hardly breathing. Sometimes they don't breathe. They are under they say, just bury me in some, cave or something. I don't want to be disturbed. I'm just releasing my karma. And then they live till 300 years. And then they will leave their body at will. So between these 20-year cycles is a 3-day gap where no karma can accrue to you. So yogis who are very evolved, they know when one cycle has ended and another has not yet begun. So they will leave their bodies in those 3 days. They consciously leave their bodies. They will meditate and move out of the crown chakra during that time when there is no karma starting and one karma is finished. Because you cannot really leave in the middle of a Prarabdha Karma. If you do Prarabdha Karma 120-year cycle, sometimes because of many factors, there could be an accident and you could die in the middle of a Prarabdha Karma. And in the middle of a Prarabdha Karma, you could have committed suicide. Now, in the middle of a lesson, you have backed out. So that carries more karma because you didn't learn it and all that negative energy has now piled up. You haven't released it and you have left. So that's why suicide carries such a heavy burden. There's nothing moralistic about it. Just see it from the point of view of the energy you are carrying. It is all about energy and vibration. What will you attract then if you have that kind of energy? Okay.
Urmi, is there a way to know what is our Prarabdha Karma?
Yeah, you look at your parents, you look at your husband, and you look at your kid. You will know 3 of them immediately. What is it
Okay.
I'm supposed to learn?
Only I just want to know, some people who decide other people exit, like a serial killer or some, so they are deciding the other people exit. So, like, they will have the bad karma. That
Of
is
course.
true, but the people who are like unfortunately dying, so there will be karmic loss for them also.
Yeah, sometimes you will see that these people have agreed to be killed in a certain manner simply to drop a karma. They must have killed somebody like that in another life.
Okay.
So they have agreed that I'm going to die like this.
Me, the other thing I want to ask you is, so talking about learning life lessons, what about children who are born with so many problems? What is a life lesson that as a child
No, so
they can do?
sometimes, yeah. So suppose a child is with Down syndrome or something. These are very evolved souls. At a soul level, they agree to come down as vegetables so that the parents have a certain lesson to learn. It is nothing to do with them. They don't have any lessons here in this life. They are here, they voluntarily take that role so that people around them can learn their lessons.
Oh, so would that apply, say, to someone who is also growing old and has, say, like dementia,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because they are not in a situation to learn anything, but
correct.
it's more for the people around.
Could be.
Is that
Yeah,
similar?
yeah. And don't even think if I have dementia, I'm not learning. Somewhere at some subconscious level, I am learning some things. And of course, I am creating a situation for other people to learn. Because these are all very complex soul contracts we come with. That I will now, let's go down, and in my last life, you made me suffer. In this life, you can look after me for 20 years. You know, that could be a soul contract. A man may have the, sorry.
A lot of mother-in-law, daughter-in-law karma, soul contracts will be like that in India.
Yes, absolutely. And you can choose not to prolong it. You can choose to learn the lesson by simply becoming detached. Do your duty, but stop getting entangled and stop cribbing about it all the time, because then you'll create more karma for yourself. Right? So it's already 5. I think I will end here. Okay. So, yeah, this topic, of course, raises a hornet's nest. So there's more to it. We will continue next week.
Excellent. Thank you.
I can't hear. Somebody is saying something.
Now.
Could you type it because we can't hear you?
Yeah, there's somebody's trying to say something.
Yeah.
So in Kriya Yoga, what are we burning? We are burning the Sabeja Karma, the huge truckload that is there, okay? And we are not creating anymore, because Kriya, the practice, does not bring you any more karma. It neutralizes everything. It just keeps helping you release a whole lot of stuff which is, stored for lifetimes. So is someone saying something, or should we end?
We don't know who was saying, and I think she was just thanking you for the
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll end today with a prayer. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing power in all bodies, minds, and souls. So please chant Om with me 3 times, rub your hands, and send the healing energy out into the world. Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay, thank you. See you next week.
Thank you, Urmi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
so
Bye-bye.
Bye. Kriya Vans remain.
Thank you.